Yeah, there's also BBL looking at this position. Oatlis got confirmed by Matrilius off on the side. Matt does go down. Space Station are still alive with 3. But on the low ground, it's going to be a very, very difficult push for them. In fact, Sharpshot just gets knocked by Tank just to the south of them. But a couple other teams also having to rotate into the circle. Kaishin being one of them. All surviving members in one vehicle. Very, very scary approach. How many times have we seen Kaishin forced to do this with no other option? They get a bit of a tree.
Oh,
But
Fury.
that can't be safe from all the angles.
They know the fact that this is where Space Station Gaming is. They've been next to him for quite a while. Sharpshot just now getting rezzed. Is Fury going to be close enough to make these nades do enough work into it? Roth manages to get away from him. Looks like Sharpshot does manage to get his med up. So now SSG can use the vehicles for a little bit of cover, but they're close to exploding, and that's going to be a problem. Blows up. Blood manages to connect it on to Keenan, and now Space Station Gaming in some trouble, having to look back up at Fury, who has a high ground position above them. But guess what? Other teams also now starting spot out Fury. It looks like GEX as well as BBL might have an idea on what's going on. Fury, besides the fact that we've just got to send it, we've got to finish this fight fast. Coming in with the Fury that they are known for, jumps right into this wall, and SSG now going to have another nade land on top of him, and it is just connecting time and time again. Just one member up for SSG, and so limited in options on how to handle what's coming through. Fury just mops that one up.
And they take a lot of damage, but no one has been knocked on the side of Fury. However, are they aware of the same angles from BBL, from MCG that have been punishing SSG this whole time, and especially now with the circle going towards the west? BBL do not have to move. They can just continue to deal damage after shot, after bullet point. A little bit of damage coming back their way, forces them to stay a little more honest. And now Rustamar also coming in from the northeast side, trying to go in from a similar angle, perhaps sneaking up from behind Fury if they want to take that northern route.
Yeah, with the western shift, the east is very condensed right now. Near on nobody in the west right now, as all the teams are actually still leaning into a gatekeeping position. See Oath getting vision on what's going on with Ints right now, and they know the fact that there's probably a couple teams in front of them, so they're trying to figure out how they want to push into this zone themselves. Looks like they might be eyeing back in just using the hillside itself. They do have a couple of vehicles that they can run to that were defended a little while ago. TSM still getting some vision on what's going on with 17. Remember, they were kind of wounded beforehand and so kind of limping into this one now with just show up.
Couple of shots, trying to find perhaps the finishing hit by TSM, who are looking for control of the southern side. And now back onto the Fury versus BBL. Standoff.
Oh, Oath. There's just nowhere to go, man. Sonic's one side, MCG on the other, Ints on the other one with it. They make a gamble into it, but I mean, Multi-Circle Gaming's got vision on the entirety of this hillside. Ints can't move. Oath can't move. Even Xenon can't move because of just the domino effect of him trying to do so. Relo's at least trying to get something out of this really desperate position that he's in. Xenon being very patient on this one might be actually the undoing of Ints if they're not careful, because it looks like they're starting to lean his direction.
Ooh, Relo can get a revive and try and deal some damage as a duo, perhaps. But the blue coming in as fast as it is, mostly it's just going to be raw chaos here on the east side. MCG still have 4 up. So they're hoping to not get punished by any one of these stragglers coming on in, and Ents going out is going to make their control of the east side even cleaner now. BBL rotating away from Fury. They want to rotate away from any of these fights. They don't want to be caught up in any of that melee.
Weevil lead with a good angle into it. Has to be careful. He goes down. Oath is fighting tooth and nail to just make it inside the zone, but just down to 1. Relo's trying to navigate it, and look, Multi-Circle Gaming knows where he's at. He's going to go down. Multi-Circle Gaming now getting control of the northeast of this circle. Fury pretty close to them at the time, but should be able to get the res on the Evil as well. And now it's going to be all about this next circle. Yet again, Fury trying to defend up at the time. Multi-Circle Gaming looks like they're just trying to throw out some stuff to slow down Fury and keep any advance coming, as the circle does shift where most of our teams are already playing at.
Yeah, but you have to look at Buriram as in the winning position right now. Only compounded in the circle. Everyone else is just going to be fighting for scraps around the outside. And BBL still coming out on top. Mert with a nice headshot from the bolt action on Waikakumukau. Unable to confirm just yet. Flood might be going for the revive, and they have a little bit of recover, but MCG swinging in from the opposite side. Suddenly Fury are being pincered between multiple fronts.
I mean, Tank is putting in some work for Multi-Circle Gaming right now, forcing everything in the movements that were happening to the east, now even starting to turn around and turn his Fury onto Fury themselves. So I think that Fury's now going to have to lean a little bit more to the east unless they want to try to take a full-on fight. Mert, though, is coming in from that area and might be able to spot what's going on. Fury does get vision on them. Don't run into disconnecting Metronis. So now just down to Mert, who's going to have to contend with Fury coming in with multiple members. Well, I would say that. They're actually kind of content to continue to scout this one. Fury not wanting to make too grand of a move just yet.
Yeah, BBL, for all of their efforts trying to deal heavy damage and just pepper in shots, loosen up the bolt, as it were, taking a lot of damage themselves. But looking back onto the Sonics, who haven't really had to move too much. Singleton does get dropped. They're trying to escape from the blue in the middle of the smoke, and Shrimsy, nice counter shot coming out onto Show. And then here on the south, TSM. Oh, they're pushing directly in onto Buriram's position. Are they aware of Naradra? Godmeow has been dropped, but Naradra is the front position to potentially catch TSM off guard.
This is such an interesting position coming out from Naradra. If they don't expect this, he could just absolutely pop up as the deadliest Jack-in-the-Box that TSM has ever seen. Now, I'm starting to see the repositions coming through. Looks like Fury has decided, you know what? Let's just lean into the closer push, and they're eyeing Multi-Circle Gaming. Multi-Circle Gaming gets a little bit of vision onto it, but you can see Fury doing a good job of navigating. Insight gets vision on the side, takes down Tank, who's been putting in all the damage so far. Insight then spins it back around, and he is demolishing Multi-Circle Gaming on this angle. We do see that Flood goes down, but Multi-Circle Gaming in a ton of trouble right now, as Insight is just providing knowledge to every single teammate. There you go, Multi-Circle Gaming, take it down.
Fury have come alive this match. Great movement, going for fights, avoiding fights. But back here on the Sonic, Singleton sends it on in with backup to remove 17, looking at 5 teams remaining. And I think Mert, down to 6 HP now, could be the next one out to show our top podium finishers. Naradra now on the roof, gets
what?
Two.
What? Just pops up, scares him. I said Jack-in-the-Box a second ago, but I wasn't expecting him to pop up on top of everything. TSM, I mean, they tried. That was the position you wanted to play, but Buriram defended it like giants.
And now, the last remaining teams not in the compound, Sonics and Fury, both with 4 up. And I don't know if either of them are going to be eyeing that compound just yet, because the angle that TSM came in on is really the best angle to approach the compound. But fortunately, the circle goes their direction, forces Buriram to have to play from outside. However, they are going to use the high ground from these buildings to apply pressure for as long as they can. This means that Sonics and Fury might just be forced to fight each other before the final boss of Buriram comes alive.
I mean, just good defensive vision coming out from Godmeow. He knows this hillside is where people want to play from. If you play PUBG, you've played around this hillside multiple times and had to probably contest for this building. It just provides so much vision on everything that goes. But remember, most of the building is now going to be outside. So that means they are going to have a little bit of that high ground still position on that flat top. But that does mean the fact that Sonics are moving into a pinched position, and they have to be very, very careful. You can see that's why they're trying to use the hillsides to deny vision on Buriram. But Fury, though, is starting to stretch their legs out to the north. You can see that Insight, who's been doing great off of these flanked positions, is putting himself in that flanked point and trying to figure out exactly how much of the circle he can get control over.
I love this expansion by Fury, but they can only peek over so much. Really, it's just waiting for the circle to close, because then Buriram's positioning is no longer dominant. Naradra going in for a little bit of a refill. I think that was mostly just for the armor. He didn't stay around for long. Godmeow was still just trying to stare down Sonics, but everyone is mostly inside the circle. It's just Fury that need to make a few extra steps to get inside, and then the real game begins. I'm surprised that Buriram haven't sent any single player out, even under the cover of smoke, to try and find an initial position. They're just hoping that members of the opposing teams peek into their high ground angle, but how long is that really going to last? There is a small corner of that building that's in the next circle, so perhaps they're hoping for that. There it is. There's the vehicle play. One member has tried to go out and find a little bit of a ridge. It's going to make their positioning that much stronger.
Yeah, Buriram leaning into the Sonic side. Sonics, though, pretty aware of it, should be able to hear what's going on off of this. But I do like the fact that Buriram is still managing to keep an eye on what's going on and could possibly spot out inside as well. It's all on Buriram. They're the moving factor inside of this, as Fury is already cemented in. Sonics feels pretty comfortable on this hillside as they know exactly where Buriram is, unless Buriram creeps forward just a little bit more and cook some nice nades and drop them right on top of them. See where the next circle is going to go, because that's going to dictate how all of this is going to break down.
I think
Getting to net zero means change. It means working together with our customers to meet their growing demand for cleaner energy. Discover more about Shell's climate target.
One little Christmas tree can give a child some joy. You can light up the moon.
Eddie and Naruto might already be in grenade range from Sonics. It's just going to be the hill that could defend, you know, the grenades rolling down that hill. We've seen that happen time and time again where like they seem to be right on target. It's just gravity working against them. But right now, finally, in phase 8, and then in the final circle, the final point, the compound has been removed. So the rest of Burrow Realm are going to be following up. The high ground is no longer in play. However, they still have high ground relative to the Sonics and potentially even Fury. It's just going to be that spread that Fury have been able to lean into, creeping in from the north, that could give them the angles to comb out the rest of the players.
Yeah, I mean, so small movements coming in. Fury does have a lot of vision in the circle, but having to come into it, you can see that they're using the opposite side of this hill. So really, they're trying to use their ears more than their eyes right now because they know if they go for peaks, they could be popped just the moment their head pops over that. So instead, trying to be that third-party influence. Slowly, though, trying to get more control over every single circle, because with the way we see Sonics and Burram knowing where each other are, they can't move as freely. And this is allowing Fury to time and time again move in, get better control over the center, and allow them to have an opportunity to pick up this game.
Say you're forced to, you have to win the games that you have to win. And if Fury come in and steal this away from Burrow or even Sonics, that's going to completely upend that saying. Because
let's be real,
Fury have had to fight through thick and thin to even make their way into this final position in the first place. And the fact that they have all 4 up, they are on fire right now. But you can never count out Sonics or Burrow.
I mean, Burram, these guys, you know they want it. The way that they play, they want to make it into this final so bad. But Sonics? I mean, everybody is talking about Sonics good and bad to the point where I was finally like, everybody's been talking about them so much, there's nothing left to talk about. So now Sonics, this is your opportunity as well. Fury, a pride of an entire country upon their shoulders right now, as they come in, and you know Fury, after missing PGIS, wants to come into PGC, and they want to make a point. They want to make a statement, and this could be their game to do so. Positioning around this, you can see heartbeats starting to escalate. As everybody knows, it's been too quiet for too long, and it's just starting to mount more and more pressure on everybody. All the teams now starting to break out into a little bit more of a triangle, getting distance and equal distance from each other. So that means when vision starts coming into play, it's going to be an open-ended firefight. Nobody wants to take the first shot. Now, Nade's starting to connect. Burram starting to make sure that they can get a little bit of an advantage over here and at least maybe force Sonics away. Sonics taking a lot of damage, has to step away from that. Now, Fury is going to hear this, but they do not want to commit into the fight just yet. They want to see how this goes, see if any knocks come into play. Tons of smokes now thrown down, and Burram are trying to find an advantage angle to move into the center. Sonics, though, have no vision, no idea what they're going to be walking into, and Ronan finally getting a little bit of a gumption. Tua moves into the center of everything, starting to vie for those spots and contest where Burram's at. Everybody slow creeping up the side of this utility, being burned everywhere. Near on no vision as smoke is dropped on every single angle, and it's all being focused down in Sonics. If there's a throwable, it's coming down their direction as Burram is expending everything. They know where Sonics are. They don't have the idea yet on where Fury is, so Burram has to commit into this, and with this high ground positioning, there's just nowhere for Sonics to go. They're having to step away from it time and time again. Finally, something breaks. It's going to be Edie getting hit with a nade. This could be a follow-up coming into it at any given moment. How does Sonics want to play it? Konaxi has to jump out. He's moving around this to get away from the Molotov, take some blue damage. Now, Sonics, what do you want to do from here? You should have an idea that there's going to be a team on the other side of it, and it looks like it is going to be YK Kamukau starting to get involved on the other side of it. Mime having an idea on how this is going to play through, and everybody is just getting right up on top of each other.
Fury pushing in from the north this entire time, but all the smoke's in play. Everyone's still so alive and healthy. Even Burram have a couple of members up to play with. Blood finds another. Konaxi fully confirmed. Now Burram only have 1 remaining, but Fury are coming alive onto the Sonics angle as well. Burram are out. Fury and Sonics remaining. 2 versus 3.
Looking through. Shrimzy, the last one up, gets spotted out, and Fury comes in. Big kill count and a smart play to navigate that end zone and fight their way through a ton of work to get to this stage.
Oh, come on, Flood. Let Insight kiss you. That was an amazing game coming out by Fury. 18 kills, 4 up into the late game. Not a single member got confirmed towards the very end, but even for the Sonics, as close as that was, a very solid game for them as well. We're not going to call it the Sonics being back. They did have a compound to play around with. Same thing for Barrera, which is why it is so amazing that Fury were able to win that game, because they had almost no advantage up until the end game, and even then was very, very tentative at best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just astounded. Fury knew how to play that so well, and let's be real, that is a high pressure fight for every single one of those teams involved. Whenever you just have silence set on an in circle like that, you just don't know what you're walking into, and so your brain just starts to try to run through every single situation to make sure that you're prepared. The less firefight you hear, the more nerve-wracking it becomes for every single one of these players. I know there might have been a couple of people that were sitting on the edge of their seats during that last fight. Let's go ahead and toss it over to our analysts.
Thank you very much, folks. A very, very intense end to that game. And Chunks, Fury, they win a quiet place the game by the looks of things. The casters are absolutely right when they say, if you haven't actually had any action for several minutes and you're trying to work out what everyone else is doing, the tension just racks up and up and up.
Yeah, it was beautifully done by Fury. They waited. They didn't get over-aggressive super early. They very easily could have tried to push onto Sonics, and that would have been detrimental to them. But they waited, and it was a pressure cooker. We talk about it all the time. And that nade from Tiggleton was what really opened things up. It got the knock onto Burram. It did a little bit of damage onto a couple of the other players. Sure, he wasn't able to confirm the kill, but that kicked off that chain reaction. Once Burram had lost one, Fury were like, hey, that's Burram in the kill feed. We definitely want to make sure that they're done. More frag grenades come over the top. They were able to finish off Burram. They did take a casualty, but as far as I could tell from the kill feed, and obviously this went down so fast, Waikikamuka pretty much eliminated the whole of Sonics.
I mean, Fury pretty much eliminated more than a third of the lobby. No other team, Martin, even got double-digit kills in this game. There were no kills left for anyone else to take.
Yeah, that was quite impressive. The way Fury, they macroed their way through this game was just super impressive. I saw them drive into the shooting range to put pressure onto SSG. The way, in general, they made sure they maintained control of the circle, put pressure on the other teams. I was just, yeah, pure skill of excellence here. It was, honestly, there were so many times I was like, they're going to lose a player. They're going to lose a player. But they stayed 4 guys alive for that long. And you could see that. Oh, this is also pretty impressive to see 6 kills, 5 kills, 4 kills, or all in the top 3 inside here with a super good off angle to make sure that Buriam didn't push off to the west. That made sure that Buriam was forced to fight with Sonics. And again, in a situation where you're 4 versus 4 versus 4, you always want to be the last team to engage. And Fury made sure of that.
Locking out then that kill board, and Insight gonna be grabbing MVP here. Absolutely deserved for them. And of course, APAC, Chunks now bringing a bit of the heat as well.
It's about time, isn't it? Finally, the region I cast is getting show up. And I will point out as well, I think a lot of people may have forgotten this, Fury only came in today. Their first game was today, which means that they have managed to get it in 4 games. They got themselves a chicken dinner. I saw Insight tweet out the other day, he said 11 games is plenty to get a chicken dinner. Turns out they didn't even need 5, so really impressive from them, and him kind of leading the squad there. The kills, the damage, just putting in work and being able to not only get kills but also, you know, lead the team to victory to a certain extent.
Let's go ahead and hear from the guys at Fury. I'm really hoping, by the way, Shui is involved here. I feel like they need to after earlier. Let's look.
치킨을 획득하면서 위클리 파이널에 진출하게 됐습니다. 제 옆에는 플러드 선수 나와 있거든요. 바로 만나볼게요. 승리 축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
오늘 정말 많은 킬을 기록하면서 공격적인 모습을 보여주시기도 했고 또 SSG를 정리하는 모습 또한 인상적이었는데요. 마지막 자기장까지 탑3가 남았습니다. 그때 누구를 먼저 밀어내야겠다고 대화를 하셨을까요?
So nice kills, a nice game today. When you guys are on the top 3, who were the targets in your mind? What kind of comms went through, and who were the number 1 priority target?
I think the number 1 priority in that final 3 was actually we just didn't want to kill anyone. We just wanted Sonics and Brew to fight each other. So basically all I was saying for maybe 45 seconds straight was like, no one shoot, no one give any info. We just need to sit here and wait for them to fight each other. That's pretty much what MC is. You just don't want to fight until you have to. So yeah, we definitely our comms are just calm, cool, calm, collected. We're just waiting for the other teams to fight each other, and then we just come in and swoop in and kill everyone.
피할 수 있으면 피하자. 좀 공격적인 것보다 좀 방어적인 면으로서 우리가 먼저 나서지 않고 소닉스랑 MCG가 먼저 싸우길 바라면서 이제 그때 돌파를 하자라고 생각을 했습니다.
정말 공격과 수비의 스타일을 균형적이게 잘 맞춘 퓨리였던 것 같습니다. 또 에란겔에서 강팀인 건 알겠는데 미라마에서
You can give a child some joy. You can light up the room.
에서도 사실 좋은 활약을 보여줬었거든요. 바텀 16에서의 모습도 그렇고 이전 매치에서도 3등이었는데 미라마 준비는 그동안 어떻게 하셨는지 여쭤볼게요.
So you guys are known to be a very strong team in Erangel. However, in the last few matches we saw really good performances in Miramar. What changed in order to kind of make Fury a better team in Miramar?
I think our coach Snooper has been really good for us. He's made sure that we work together a lot more. I think Miramar's a lot more information and scouting, and a lot more zones are a lot more predictable. So yeah, I think Snooper's been really good for us to help us work together. And I mean, Erangels, our spot on Erangels definitely suits our style more than it does our spot on Miramar does. So we usually are better on Erangel just because that's our style compared to Los Leones. Sorry.
저희가 에란겔에서 제일 잘하는 건 맞습니다. 왜냐면 저희 플레이 스타일에 맞기 때문에. 그런데 하지만 이제 코치 주누포라 저희에게 정말로 잘 맞는 코치이고 좀 그런 어디 존이나 그 서클 어디 있을까 어디에 생길까 이런 것을 정말 잘 말해주시기 때문에 잘한 것 같습니다.
그래서 위클리 파이널에서의 활약도 기대되는 것 같아요. 그리고 오늘 진행됐던 매치 전 인터뷰에서 부리람 유나이티드의 얘기를 했었거든요. 사실 퓨리는 부리람 유나이티드하고 개인적으로 친해서 SNS에 그 관계를 과시하기도 하고 또 아까 인터뷰에서는 서로 언어를 가르쳐주는 사이라고도 했는데 마지막에 함께 탑3에 와 있었잖아요. 부리람에게도 파이널에서 기다린다고 응원의 메시지 한번 부탁드릴게요.
So beforehand, when we had an interview with Insight, we talked about how Fury is tight with Brew, and how you guys post things and teach each other languages. However, in the top 3, you were with Brew. What kind of comms went through, and we want to kind of hear about what you want to say to Brew right now, if you could talk to them.
I just want to say thank you to the last solo of Brew who ratted, I think it was Mime. So thank you for killing one of Sonic's for us. That would have been a really hard 4v4, especially since it was pretty much would have just been a straight 4v4 in smokes. But Brew managed to get some knocks for us, so appreciate you boys.
브루 인원 중 한 명이 누군지는 모르지만 인원 중 한 명이 소닉스 팀 교전을 시작했어요. 그것 때문에 감사하다고 전하고 싶습니다.
네, 이렇게 해서 플러드 선수와 인터뷰 나눠봤고요. 위클리 파이널에서도 꼭 좋은 팀들과 만나서 좋은 경쟁 보여주시길 바라겠습니다. Thank you.
I hope you have great games. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
네, 이렇게 해서 9번째 매치에서 치킨을 가져가게 된 팀은 퓨리였습니다. 저는 플러드 선수와 인터뷰 나눠봤고요. 계속해서
And that was Fury. A very candid interview as well. I always love to see a little bit of honesty coming out of the players, a little bit of insight into their thought process. Martin thanking the last solo for making their life easier. But at the end of the day, they still had to step up